Hi, Coach. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
I've talked to other coaches and just wanted to get your opinion. Do you think that it's the most competitive league right now that you've seen in a while?
Yeah, I would agree with them totally. I think last year there was a situation where not every team was whole. I think we were an example of a team that was whole. We had combined really 218, and then we had some injuries in 219, but we had them all back together, in regard to it. But most teams took a little bit of a hit last year for various reasons. I see those teams now adding some great players, and there have been some movement, obviously, as well. But yeah, I think this is really, really a competitive situation that you're seeing the great players on the court playing for various teams, and a lot of teams, I think, have aspirations to be very good for good reason. So yeah, I'm right in that lane that you're talking about. The other coaches feel. I think it's a little bit of a roller coaster. I've been around the league. I wasn't in the first year, but I was in it in the second year, so I've seen quite a bit of it, and it's a little bit of a roller coaster. I think as you establish a product on the landscape of sports, but I would see us on the incline. I think this is a period where and we've had to battle some issues. I really would have liked to seen our product without dealing with the realities of the pandemic that we had, because I really feel we're a little bit on the uptick. I could see some growth coming, in that. But as in any kind of sports league, I think there's a little bit of a roller coaster as you firmly put your feet down in all the areas you have to be a legitimate professional sport that is followed year after year. But I feel like it's on the uptick. Personally, that's what I see. We're dealing with the pandemic, and I will love to see our product as maybe the world gets a little healthier.
So what, just building on that slightly, what do you see in the next sort of, I don't know, 5 years, so it can continue to be on that uptick rather than going into another sort of roller coaster slump?
Well, I think what's happened, and I'll speak because I'm a coach. I'll speak to this. I think the players have gotten better and better and better. More of them. We had some great players at the very beginning, don't get me wrong, but the numbers of great players to me have really grown. They have grown. And I think it would be legitimate to think that that our league could grow to accommodate the larger numbers of good basketball players. Our players are more athletic. They are every bit as skilled, if not more, than when I came in the league. So there's a growth in how we can play the game. And I think there's more players like that are coming into our leagues and coming out of college. And so I'd like to see more opportunities for these athletes, so that if expansion or whatever happens, that they could be on teams or developing major roles in their games, because I think that the play is increasing, and that you could see our product grow, because I think there's just more good basketball players to watch play. Yeah, but I think that change, if you really study my career, it started even before the health became part of what we deal with, and me deal with as a coach. I'm a much different coach at this stage of my career than I was then. I delegate a lot more. I understand how to be effective in empowering players more. I understand how to be effective in empowering assistant coaches more. I coach coaches more. I mean, I've changed a lot. If you'd have seen me years ago, that's not what you would have seen necessarily. And I'm glad for that, because I think the reach of what we're possible, because I have wonderful people around me, whether it's on the court or in the staffs. I've been able, I think our reach has been different, but you have to learn, and you have to say to yourself, how can I help? It's not like I have this cookie cutter thing. I'm the head coach. This is what I do. A lot of times I look and I think, how can I make this reach greater? Because I empower leadership within the team, because I empower and help coach a coach. And so that's kind of followed suit with that. But I just and you try to set an example a little bit about, when you're talking about a team sport like basketball and you're looking at situations, how can I empower others around me to be effective? And that's been really the story of my latter part of my career. And sometimes health gets in the way of those things, and I'm sorry it did, but I don't regret the fact that I think we've been able to navigate that pretty well.
Hi, Stewie. Congratulations on your engagement. Does playing against her does it make it extra fun, or is it a little extra challenge? Is there any difference, or is it just business as usual?
Playing against Marta?
Yes. Sorry.
I mean, it's business as usual. That's for sure, and just a little bit more trash talking at home. It was kind of in the works for a little while. I had the ring for a while, and just finding the right time to do it, and getting her to kind of go out into the desert a little bit wasn't her favorite idea on her off day. But I think it's her favorite thing now. Oh, I mean, that day, I think she had a workout or something, and that's when I kind of like felt the weight on my chest and like the anxiety, because I knew I wanted to do it. It was just like, how am I going to make it perfect? How am I going to hide like this ring box that's so big and doesn't fit in pockets, and those type of things. And she got back to the room and it was like 12, and I already had a Truly, and she's like, "Oh, we're having Trulies this early." And I was like, "Yeah, just to calm my nerves." Did yoga, all these things, but it went well. It went well, especially kind of trying to do things in COVID and dealing with the protocols. But for us, it was perfect. She said she didn't enjoy hiking. She was like, "Why are we here?" And afterwards, it was like one of her favorite experiences. I mean, I think the sky's the limit as far as where we can go as a league. I think that, we are riding on great momentum since the CBA, our new CBA was kind of created. The season that we had in the bubble, the attention that we kind of got as basketball players, as advocates on and off the court, and continuing to take that forward. We know that the people who first started the league wanted to kind of come in and make it a better place when it was their time to kind of retire and pass the torch. And that's what we're doing, is continuing to make sure that we're playing the best basketball possible. We're continuing to get viewers to gain attention and make this league better than when we came. I'm not sure how much we're going to take on new messages, because the things that we are advocating for still need to be advocated for, just as far as equality, Black Lives Matter, rights as women, the way that women are viewed. I think that, we have a lot in this world that we need to be better. And of course, we're going to, as we get ready to get started with the league, we're going to continue to make sure that we're all on the same page, all 12 teams, for what we're going to make sure is our focal point this season, and take that going forward, because, we learned last year that, what we did on and off the court, what we did off the court was just as important as what we did on. And that's really how it is, for this league of women in the WNBA, because there's always something that we're fighting and advocating for. Yeah, I mean, I always want to try and find a time. It's so hard when we're playing seasons back to back to kind of find time to work on player development. So, especially overseas, that's something that's super important to me. And, actually when I was playing with ECAT, I was playing 3-4, I was playing some three. So really, continuing to expand the guard way and getting those skills and that familiarity that I can take it back to the 4, whether it's the ball handling or, the playing on the perimeter. And then obviously just really staying sharp, having a season go right into another one. There isn't much downtime, which has its pros and cons, but it's good for you to stay in a rhythm.
As a longtime vet, as one of the greats of the game, do you still get like butterflies before the game? Are you still able to soak it in and go like, wow, this is the coolest thing? Or does it become more routine?
I think a little bit of both. I don't necessarily get nervous. I think the beauty of having experience is that allows you to be a little more calm, a little, you kind of know what to expect. So you're a little less anxious, but you're still an athlete. And when the lights go on, you still know you have to perform. So of course there's like a jolt of nervous energy that goes through you. I think, to be honest, if that ever stops happening, then I would know it was time to retire, because that's what makes it fun. That's what gets you going. That's what makes those moments, those big moments, that much more enjoyable. So I definitely still have like that kind of energy, but no, for the most part, my experience allows me to be a little more calm, not get too emotional or too caught up in it. But I still get excited. Yeah, well, I mean, I've said this before. It's a combination of things. I think one, when we went through when the franchise decided to go through a rebuild in 2014. Yeah, around
Sounds right.
there, 2014, 2015. When we got Jewell as the number one pick, whatever year that was, 2015. I really, I committed to staying in this franchise. I committed to help get through the rebuild, to I always wanted to finish my career here. There was all these storylines, but part of it was I was also, in a way, accepting that we might not get back to that championship form. I knew we would probably make the playoffs, especially when we got Stewie. But to be honest, at that point, I was, 37, 38 years old. Who knows how much longer you're going to play? So I had really committed to a situation where I wasn't sure if I'd ever get to win again. And two things happened. One, the rebuild happened way faster than anybody thought. So we got to the other side of it way faster. And, the second thing is kind of a combination of things. One, my commitment to my body worked, hiring Susan Borchert, changing my nutrition, my workout regimen, that all worked. So I started to feel good, even at my age. But then being around young players, I mean, I've always said it keeps you young in a way. And it was like a breath of fresh air, being around these players, being around the Jewels and the Stewies, even AC. And then when Natasha came to the team, I can go down the list of players, but everything, it felt fresh again, where when you stay in a franchise for a long time, things can get stale. That's why you need shakeups, whether it's rosters or coaches, you name it. But now all of a sudden it was brand new again. And we had this new lease on life, and winning in 2018 just sparked that. Obviously 2019, we had some injuries, but right back at it in 2020. So this ladder, I always do say, I've definitely been on record saying that you never forget your first. And so, the Storm championship in 2004 will always stand out, but I also understand how hard it is to get back. And that lull you mentioned between 2010 and 18, I really thought I would never get back. So to have gotten back, to be able to win 2 times, I think this latter part of my career will also hold a special place. Similar to the first, maybe even more. I don't know. Oh, it's so different. When I first got to the league in 2002, I actually feel like the plateau, and sadly, maybe even a little bit of the decline, had already started to happen. I think when the league, hit the scene in 97, I mean, it made it splash. Everybody was talking about it. We got next was a tagline that everybody knew. It was hot. The league was hot. And then, like I said, sadly, I think it hit a little bit of a bump in the road and started to decline a little bit, maybe even plateaued, not from a basketball standpoint, but just from like a perception standpoint. And, a lot of it is not getting the marketing, not getting the sponsorship money. And what you're seeing now is people are truly starting to believe in our league. They're truly starting to see the value. They're truly starting to invest. And I think we can all agree, everybody who is in this world of women's basketball can agree that there's a momentum that started building over a year and a half ago and is continuing to build. And to me, that's the beauty of where this league is now at 25 years. We withstood that test. It was a tough test in those middle years, in the middle of my career, because we were trying to find our footing. And now I think we understand who we are as a league. The product's never been better on the floor. And so we're just continuing to grow. And right now feels 100% like a momentum shift. And I hope that continues to carry us through the next couple of years and beyond. Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is going to be, or the most important aspect of this is going to be just survival of the fittest. You know, it's 144 roster spots. With each year, you know, I always joke about this. With each year, there's new draft classes. There hasn't been that many retirements in reality, so the league is just so difficult to make. And what that does is it gives you a great product. You know, every team is deep. Every team has talent. And so that just continues to raise the level of play. I also think that there's been, you know, some rule changes that have helped through the years, you know, whether it's shortening the shot clock, pushing the 3-point shot out, defensive 3 seconds. Those are all to make the game fast paced and exciting and a lot of scoring. I think that's helped. I think the referees have gotten better. They've adapted with our game as well. You know, again, it's for the entertainment value of it all. So all arrows are pointing in the right direction. It's just going to continue to get better.
Hi, Jewel. I'm calling from your old area of Lincolnwood. I wanted to thank you for coaching DePaul. I talked to a lot of the players, and they really, really enjoyed having you on the staff. So real quick, my question is just, being back in Chicago, were you able to grab some of your Chicago food favorites?
Of course. That's usually what I do right away. Usually when I fly in, my mom has Blue Mel's waiting for me right away. So that's usually the go-to. And then you got to stop at Portillo's, of course. That's a go-to as well. And then, you know, I usually try to go get a gyro somewhere. It was east of Edens, west of Edens, but I think one of them closed. But yeah, then lastly, you got to go to Deer Frank's. That's a spot ever since high school. That's my pregame meal in high school, and the guys there are great. So I hit up all those spots all the time when I'm back there.
Sounds good. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you. It was a great experience. I got to know the girls really well, and they're phenomenal athletes, great people. And that was probably the best part about being back in Chicago is still being a part of a team. You know, I definitely missed that aspect of not playing overseas and not being able to do anything, but allowed to be there and help anywhere I could. And, you know, Doug Bruno is a great guy. I've known him since I was literally 5 or 4. And so being a part of his coaching staff was a privilege, and I learned a lot, and I saw the game differently, which helped me a lot, but also just the fact that I was able to help the team out was a real treat for me.
Is that like coaching? Is that something you see in your future?
Not at all. I
Oh.
have no desire to be a coach whatsoever, but I do have a desire to always give back to the kids, and that's why I really wanted to be a part of it. That's different than coaching to me. Yeah, it's amazing. I think, you know, the first time I saw it on social media, it was like, is this real? Is this really happening? And then seeing it in person was amazing. But then also getting to know the artists who were painting it was pretty cool too. So yeah, I mean, it's when you're a part of a great organization, and if you can bring some championships back, you know, you sometimes you're not forgotten. So with everything like that, but also the message on the mural, you know, what we went through in last season, and a reminder of, you know, what that championship really was and what we're about here in Seattle and also in our organization. It means a lot. So it's more than just basketball. It's more than just, you know, players that just can shoot, but it's what we stand for.